Good morning everyone. Kalimera. How everyone is doing? Welcome to another market update. Today it's the 8th of July. Welcome. I've got already the music in the background. Today it's going to be a solo. We don't have the General John. General John is on his way to the port. It's going to go down to the island of Patmos. So we're going to wish him good travels, safe seas. He's going to spend 8 hours inside the Aegean Sea, from the central part of the Greece all the way down to the eastern part to the islands of Patmos. If you want to look where Patmos is in the maps, have a look where Kos is and look towards the north of Kos and Leros, and you're going to see Patmos. Right, okay, enough of that. Good morning everyone and welcome. I hope you have a good day yesterday. Let me bring some messages up in the screen so we can see who is here and say good morning. I see Bassman. Good morning Bassman, how are you my friend? I hope you're doing well. And we're gonna have a small discussion about yesterday when we said the shorts after the breakout of the yellow box. So, Kalimera, good morning directors and agents. I hope you're all having an amazing day. It is Tuesday, the ranges have been set. So let's go. We have the tools, let's trade. The GFib. That's correct. Philip, good morning. Has to be a beautiful trip, of course. Every day is a good day. So here's John, good morning director and agents. But the bubbly, hello Mrs. Good morning CIA directors and amazing agents. Morning Mac. Hi everyone. Hello, welcome. Long time no see. I hope you're well. Right, okay, let's zoom in a little bit here on the screen. Right, yesterday, that was the our focus point. And this is a very classical example why it is safer to go on intraday day trading, because you don't know for how long the market is going to last. So let me go one higher time frame. And that was our focus point. Okay, and we wanted to see something, a breakout, to play out the breakout. Okay, and see how far we could go. That is the 50% between this range and that G level there. So we got two G levels, right? If I zoom out, we can see the numbers: 109.1 and 105.8. So that is the 50%, right? Which is roughly around 107 and 5, 107.48, right? 107.5. And yesterday it started moving to the downside, okay? And that was my threshold and triggers, right? The first one was my trigger point. If I lose that, what we used to be support, breach, okay? And I had this level here as well as a bouncing zone. Like I said, okay. I may get a little bounce, like I have, let's say, escape from the range, bounce, and then do something like this, right? This is what I was expecting. And this is what you have here. You have a bounce from the second line and comes all the way up to the range, and then it got rejected. Okay, that little blue guy over here. So let me zoom in again. Right, this is what happened. It broke out, bounced on the first line. It went all the way down to the second line and straight up, and then got rejected. So that was the trigger for me to say, okay, we're going down. And that's why I did the market update. Well, the mini update that I did inside Discord. Okay, that the shorts have been triggered, and then you need to go level by level. Okay, 108.5, 108.3, 108.1, 107, and ultimately the first target was to hit the 50%, and look how close he went to that 50%. Okay, but this is a classical example why we need to focus on intraday, which means you need to go level by level, right? And look at that, you have first choke, second choke, and look how volatile that is. And this is where we have the US Open. Okay, look at that, the fight. Small candles on the way down, big candles, but no movement, right? We got stuck between these two guys. Goes up and down, up and down, up and down, like someone has a sprint race and they're measuring the heart rate. Okay, it goes up and down on the same level, right? Now it gets a little bit more interesting. Okay, you got these double wicks exactly under the line that we have. Okay, and then it shoots all the way down towards the closing of the US. Okay, a little bit bounce, and you see that we came back to this region. Now this is Asia, the very beginning of Asia, the dead spot between US and Asia. This is the move to the upside. So this is let's say post-market move, right, from US, and pre-market move from Asia. And since Asia opens, it shoots all the way down, takes out these lows. Look at that wick, takes these lows out, and then it start moving to the upside. Now once again we're getting rejected on 108.341. So this is a classical example why we need to trade as intraday and go level by level, because the market is, one session is going down, the next session, the dead zone, the in between, someone's decided to push it up, and then Asia comes in and push the whole thing. It changes directions multiple times within a day, which is make it very difficult for traders to trade it. Okay, it's confusing. It's stirring up the water, so to say. Okay, so that makes it a bit harder. But if you're going down to smaller time frames like 15 and 5 minutes into intraday, okay, you just need to follow the lines, okay, level by level. Remember, your optimal target was to hit the 50% of the G level of the range. Okay, that's the G level, that's the G level, that's the 50%. That was the previous day. Okay, you can see how these levels can work and help with people that they want to do intraday. Okay, and look how the price action is respecting and reacting to these G levels. Okay, so that is a classical example. That's why it is important to mark out the areas that you're expecting, the significant areas, break it down, expect, have a little plan. How do you want to see the price is going to react, and then let's see if the market is going to give you that layout. If you're managing your TA to start matching the price action point of rejections and turns, then you're in a good spot. Okay, it means you don't need to reconfigure your TA. And look at that, how the price action is reacting to your G levels, right? That's not a G level here, so it got reacted here, it got reacted here, deviation, it went a bit higher, it came down to these levels and these levels and these levels. Okay, that's the deviation, it went all the way down, and that is a sign of weakness that it did not manage to come all the way down here. You turn around way faster and you're like, that's interesting. And look what happened here. You have this abundant wick on the same level, and you could understand that maybe you have a strong buying pressure here. When you have these large wicks, remember, we call them abundant wick. Abundant, what does it mean abundant? We abandon the idea of this trend. So if that trend was going downwards and you see this huge wick, it means they abandon the direction, the downtrend. It's time to turn around. Okay, and the same thing here. You have a very strong abundant wick here. It means that correction, that rally is over and done, right? And they're turning around. So all you have to watch out. Okay, look at that huge abundant wick. came down, came to the same area, pushed down, goes up again. Once again, you got another abundant wick and it's getting pushed down. Another abundant wick, you see it's turning around. Rejection, not strong abundant wicks anymore, and you see slow move to the downside. When you have abundant wicks, okay, the movement to the opposite way, kind of a little bit, it has some momentum. If there's no abundant wicks, you see that the momentum is very weak. Okay, so yeah, now Bitcoin once again is on 108.3 and it's trying to figure out which way it's going to go. Okay, zoom out, and if someone was, let's say, day trading, or someone was doing swing trading, okay, that is not a lot of a movement. You know, from the bottom of that range all the way down here, almost that G level, it's only 1.2%. Okay, a lot of people won't be interested in such move. Okay, that's why I say that sometimes it is important to go down into levels, because the market is very uncertain. We are inside the range. Once again, look at that, we are inside the range. Okay, we see that we are above the 105.8, so this is the upper section of the range, and we see that the price action is sticking to these levels, right? So this is kind of like we're waiting, we are on hold, but the sentiment is still kind of a little bit bullish because we are above the 50%. Okay, it touched the 50%, it got pushed. Now we cannot go under the quarter. Okay, this is, remember, this is the 50% between these two guys, right? If I break this down, let me remove that line, right, and break down, let's say, the range. Okay, so here's my top G level. Well, even I'll go with range. So I'll break down the range. Okay. So here's the range. That's where the range starts. That's where the range finishes. It ends here on the range. So you see that my 105.8 is matching the middle line of the range. And look at now that you have 8s, right? Look at that, how exactly the price action is respecting this a little bit brighter white line, and this is the gray. Okay, well, this is a 25, right? If I turn this into 4s, it will be more clear for you to understand. There you have it. Okay, 100%, 25, 50, right, 75, and 100. And you see that the red line is exactly on the spot. If I move this line, okay, let me move this line, you can see that the red line is here. Okay, if I put it on the range, okay, you can see that is matching. There you go, exactly on the spot. Okay, if I go to the left, you see the line continues, so it's aligned, and look where the price is bouncing on the quarter. Okay, it's bouncing. So I give you a nice demonstration for you to understand. So for someone that is doing intraday, like 15 and 5 minutes, you can find multiple possibilities and multiple opportunities. So when you know, that was another let me do an addition discussion about yesterday. When you understand that the market is going down, it has no other option to go down, you understand why I say that sometimes the leverage can be irrelevant. Forget about the leverage, because you know that the market is going down, right? And it's the only way it looks like it's going to go down. So sometimes when you target from this level to this level, or all the way down to these levels, or to these levels, you know that it has no return. It's losing. It's giving you evidence that it broke out of the range. It got rejected on this double M here, comes down 1, 2, and then it goes down. And you say, okay, this is a clear rejection. It cannot go inside the range. I don't know how strong the momentum is going to be, but it seems that there's no way back. It's already drifting. Okay, down 50 goes out, rejection goes out. So you understand that it's like a one way, and the only way is down. So to you, your leverage, it becomes a little bit irrelevant, and say, hey, it doesn't matter if I go 2x, or it doesn't matter if I go 10x, it doesn't matter if I go 30x, that thing is going down. And this is what the range traders, right, especially they're doing a minor range, the range traders, this is what they're taking advantage of. They know that the market's going to go down. So what they do, they go heavy on positions, and they go a little bit heavy on leverage, and they know that's going to last for a few hours until they reach another level. Okay, that's it. Right, okay, let me I closed yesterday accidentally all the layouts here, so we're going to find them, no worries. We're going to find the ranges. We have the long term. Let's have a look a little bit on the long term. Right, here we go. So long term, once again, we under the 109. Let me zoom in a little bit. Remember what we saw yesterday? We saw yesterday that we had a previous weekly close, okay, and the next candle is opened and so far is running under the 109.1 on a weekly time frame. Okay, so we got these guys over here, so we need to wait and see what's going to happen next. Let me reopen another template. So let's go have a look a little bit. Let me see if I can find also let me switch these guys on. All right, okay, so we got this range, we got the long-term range. Here we go. No, you stay here, it's all right, you're going to stay here, you don't need an extra window, you're going to be fine. So here's the long-term scale. Okay, and we see that the 7 days are still printing a cross up and heading towards the upside. So let's see if we're going to get a build up. Let's see if we're going to see a continuation to the upside. The price is going a little bit numb, right? It's not doing a lot here. So this is a weekly range. I'm going to put this here. Okay, and then let me get these guys into Ethereum. Let's have a look on Ethereum. Zoom out a little bit. Here we go. We said again, Ethereum is trying to stay clear and away from 2,500. So let me increase that a little bit, give it a bit more room. Here we go. You're more than welcome to break this down. I mean, that range is no longer needed, to be honest. Okay, so let's break this down, and let's break down that little range, that little level over here. Make it a breakdown. Make sure that the numbers are matching. I'm trying my best here. So I'm going to do another full layout. Okay, and then I'm going to make it into dust lines. Make sure that the lines are matching. It has to be 26, 25, 00. And the other one has to be 2,500.36. There we go. Now all numbers are matched, and I'm going to take out the overlapping numbers, expand a little bit. Here we go, and you can see exactly where Ethereum is bouncing from. Okay, so now we have a range and a breakdown of the range. Okay, and you can see internally what is happening, and this is like the 5-minute time frame. Okay, if I zoom out a little bit on the 90 minutes, there you have it. Okay, and you can see where the price action is reacting. You see that we stay away from 2,500. We want to stay away from it and trying to push to the upside, and right now it got rejected on halfway between 2.5 and 2,625. Go down to 50 minutes and look at that, we have a rejection exactly on the 50% of the G level. Okay, the area that once it reacted as a support, that was a question, what are we going to do? We're losing support, it's getting rejection, rejection, rejection. Okay, so that was the flipping point, right? When we had supports, now we have rejections. So Ethereum right now is getting rejected on 2,562. Okay, if you go down to smaller time frames, you can see if there are opportunities for someone to grab an entry, right? If people saw this downtrend with a massive wick, abundant wick, and turning around, and you see that it's pushing up, a lot of people will buy here. Okay, they're gonna buy to go towards the upside until you hit another G level. And this is like always like confirmations that, you know, that 2,531 is defending the price action. It does not let the price action go lower. And you see that it's doing these, breaking structure, off we go, and continues to the upside, right? And hit the next G level. That's why I say intraday, it's a bit safer to go day by day. Okay, right, this is it about Ethereum. I'm gonna take my time later on and bring back all the templates that I had. It's not a problem. It's different templates that I use. Right, okay, and now that today that our general drawing is not going to be here, okay, let's go a little bit and investigate a little bit the big boys. Let's have a look a little bit on the daily. Let's have a look on the gaps. Let's see what's going on with the CME gaps. Let me clear a little bit the wicks here so it doesn't confuse you. So there's no gap. Remember yesterday that we marked this area. We don't need to mark this area because it went all the way through, so there's no gap anymore. So that is gone. That's why it was yellow, because we needed to see how the rest of the day is going to go. So the only remaining CME gap that we have is down here, 105 and 745. Okay, it's going to take more time and more distance to travel to go all the way down 103. First, we have to see what's going to happen with 105. So there's two things it can happen. We're going to go to the upside, or we continue to the downside. Okay, now that CME, it looks like it's acting as a magnet, so we have to see today later on which way that candle is going to print. It's going to print to the upside, or it's going to print to the downside. Hype, yeah, okay, we can do a hype later on. Why not? Let's have a look a little bit on T1 at the same time. Let's see what's going on with the big boys. You know, how is the inflow? Do we have inflow or outflow of money? What's going on? Okay, so in this area we can see a little bit. This is the daily. Let me do 90 minutes. We can see that we have a little bit of inflow, right? Since we touched the 3 trillion, we are pushing up and up and up, right? But in general, if you zoom out a little bit, okay, and have a look on the left, what we see, I'm supposed to have the marker, here we go. So we see that we're dropping, okay, and we are in a downtrend. So if I was using a trend line here, let me do a little bit higher time frame. If I had a trend line here, something like this or something like this, right? Multiple touches. So we came to the same area of the squeezing, right? So let's do these, or you can do these. There's no multiple touches here, but you can do something like this. right? You come something like this. You got multiple touches here, okay? So that was rejection, that was support, and then you have another support over here. So you got these parallel lines. So you are in a tight spot, right? With T1, it's getting squashed up in this region. Okay, so two things can happen. Either we're going to see inflow, we're going to see more money coming in and breaking out the 358 trillion. Okay, or we're going to see a dump. People will see weakness that we cannot go any longer higher. We've been consolidating and squashed up in that triangle for some time now, and there's no more fresh money coming in. There is a possibility that it's going to go down, right? So yeah, interesting thing to see on T1. So we're going to wait and see. I'm going to leave these lines here so we can monitor tomorrow and see what's going to happen. T3, zoom out a little bit. Same thing, okay? We see a little bit of rally, relief rally, right? Look at that. That's a low, pushing to the upside, got rejected. Now we've got another relief rally. And the question is, you know, if I put a trend line here as well, roughly in these areas, okay? Right? A little bit deviation, reclaim, it came back, got squashed up, comes down, deviation, reclaims. Same thing with T3, okay? We're getting tight with in a corner, right? It's coming down, coming down, and it gets squashed up here. Two things can happen. Either we're going to have inflow or we're going to have a dump, okay? I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to call it from today what is going to happen, okay? Why? Because I don't believe in predictions. But think of, you know, is it possible, you know, we're going to see all of a sudden inflow of money coming in? Perhaps. Why not? Tether, you see that downtrend pushing to the down, which means a lot of people are moving away from Tether and going into the crypto space, right? Heavily selling Tether to buy crypto. You see now is reversing, right? What do you see? You see a parallel channel. It's going up, it's going up, it's going up, which means people are grabbing money, right? They're taking things from crypto and they're going inside the Tether. That's why the dominance of Tether is increasing. Okay. Same thing with Circle, the other stable coin. We can see here that we dropped and now we are turning around. Okay, we have this parallel channel, goes down. That is that a little bit trades like day trading, right? Playing around. But overall, you can see that we have lows, higher lows, right? Highs, highs. Okay, so two things can happen from here on any of the stable coins. If I put a parallel channel for easy demonstration, so let's see, this is my channel. Okay, there it is. Here's my channel. So two things can happen. Either we're gonna continue the downside or it's going to bounce, right? And maybe we're going to see an up move, right? Let's have a look at a bit on platinum. Let's see what's going on. Platinum is rising. Interesting enough, platinum continues to rise. Okay, yesterday we saw a day of, you know, reversing a little bit. This is what we saw yesterday. We saw yesterday that it was dropping a little bit. Now it's turning around. Okay, platinum is a good precious metal. Don't ignore it. So far, everyone is telling that it's been undervalued. Gold is on its way down. A little bit relief rally and continue to the downside. Let's see. You know, these guys, you can break them down easily. Right, go to super high time frames, find an impulse. Okay, find an impulse, Doesn't matter where that impulse it is. Look at that. This is the top, this is the bottom. Let me bring the wicks here. Here we go. And break this down. This is the highest, this is the lowest. And we're going to use the expansions for sure, right? Drag that out. And I'm going to use max. Right, here it is. Use the extensions. Drag it a little bit out. Go down to smaller time frame. This is a 2-month time frame. Okay, and let's go down to the daily and let's have a look. Let me lock this on gold. Right, there it is. And have a look and see, you know, what the price action is doing according to these G levels. You're like, okay. Remember, your levels are between the two green lines. Anything above the green line is extension, and you can see how the price action is reacting to the extensions. Okay. And you're like, okay, that's a nice resistance, that's a nice support, another resistance, support, another resistance, another resistance, another resistance. And you know, this is where you are now. You're going sideways between this guy and this guy, right? Look at that. Sideways. So there you have it. You can go to 12 hours and observe what gold is doing. Nice and simple, right? I'm gonna have that always forever with you. There it is, up and running. Same thing with silver. You can do the same thing with silver. Again, same thing. We are in that little range. Here's your focus point. I'm going to take this high. Let me go a little bit higher time frame. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, it's a bit tight for the weekly. Not too much information on the weekly. So I'm going to stick to these guys here. I may take this impulse. This is engulfing candle all the way down to that engulfing candle. So I'm taking this impulse and see, you know, how the price action is reacting on the smaller time frame, and there you have it. If you're happy with that, it's fine. Call that a focus point or a range. It's up to you. There it is. And say, okay, this is my range. And you know, silver is trying to break out from the top of the range. We see that we got rejected on the 50% of the range. That is good. That's looking bullish. Let's see if we're going to break this and continue to the upside. So let's range. There it is, your range and your focus point. Let's have a look on oil. Okay, this is past diagrams that we used to monitor. Right, 67, a little bit rise. We were 66. It's a little bit rising. So let's go to a higher time frame. Don't be afraid to use monthly or 3 months or 6 months. These assets come all the way back from 1983. You've got plenty of data. So grab a nice clean impulse. Let me see what I can do here. I mean, I have no problem using that wick. It's a little bit extreme, but I don't mind using that wick. I mean, you know, look at that, the price went under the negative. So I'm very skeptical. What do I need to go to the negative numbers like -10 and -50? I don't think so. So let me see if I can get right a proper impulse. Let me grab that impulse and see how that goes. Okay, this high, this low, just expand. I don't need to use the extreme template. I can use extension 1 if I want to go a little bit lower and a little bit higher, and that's it. That's the first extension. Keep it here nice and clean, right? Lock it and go down to your time frame, like your 12 hours or dailies, up to you. Expand a little bit and there you have it. Okay, there it is. Just observe if the is it locked? Let me lock that. So you can observe the price action, how is respecting to these G levels, and if you're happy with it, you're like, okay, I'm happy with it, I'm going to leave that here as it is. There it is. Right, look at that. And if you're happy with it, fine, cool. Right, so we had a drop after the end of the conflict, right? And now we see an uptrend. Okay, we see that oil again, once again, is cooking. It's pushing up, it's getting more expensive. Not a good sign, okay? We didn't manage to go all the way down to 61. You can do a breakdown, it's up to you. You're more than welcome to do a breakdown. There it is. Nice and easy. We don't need the extensions, just simple falls will do. And here's your breakdown. If you match the numbers, 76.19 and 61.98. Take out the overlapping lines, and here's your breakdown. And just a reminder, this is a breakdown. Get it out of the way, and there it is. Right? And you can see more clearly with horizontals what the price action is doing. Okay? What the price action is doing and where it's bouncing. Right? It's bouncing here, it's trying to push up. Support, it's trying to push up. This is the halfway of the breakdown. And now you have more, let's say, clean observation and more better understanding what the price action is doing in these levels, right? Nice and easy. Right, natural gas, let's see, is it going down or is it going up? It's going down, okay. So Russia and Ukraine a little bit more quieter, okay, that goes down. When Russia and Ukraine, there's going a lot of things going on here, you see that this spiking up. Let's have a look a little bit on indexes. SPX, we had a little bit of retracement here, but still pushing up. This is a 90-minute time frame. Overall, it's an uptrend. Push to the upside, a little bit of correction, and then still pushing to the upside. You can see from the ES mini as well, and push to the downside. Now we're pushing to the upside. Let's have a look on SPY. Okay, correction and pushing to the upside. Nasdaq, the same thing. DJI, correction, pushing to the upside. Let's see Europe. Right, Europe. Let's have a look yesterday. Right, early hours in the morning you see a push to the upside, and then in the afternoon when the EU closed you see a massive dump, and this is midnight, pushing to the upside. Abundant week. Let's see how the rest of the day is going to be. A lot of volatility here. Okay, look at that, how lovely, nice and smooth candles, and look at that huge big candles to the upside, correction, push to the upside. So we have these two abundant weeks. It's looking a little bit weak. You can break this down as well if you want to. Zoom out, go to a high time frame, break it down and see which level that is. Let's have a look at a bit in Germany. Same thing, abundant weeks, strong big abundant week over here. So let's see how they're going to deal with these levels here. I'm going to put that lovely. There it is. Let's say UK. There's more volatility in the UK. But again, sideways action. Okay, that is going up and down a lot. There's a volatility, but the price action is still stuck in this region here. Right? It's not doing much. That's your region. There it is. Okay, so another rejection, another abundant wick. Let's see how it's gonna perform later or today. Japan, you had a nice push to the upside, a correction, and then sideways. Hong Kong, pushing to the downside, abundant wick. Let's see the rest of the day how that is gonna go. A little bit push after midnight. You can see that Hong Kong push on the opening, right? But you're still in a downtrend. You have all these highs getting lower and lower and lower. You've got these lows going lower. Yes, you have abundant wick. This is where they stop the fall, so to say. So they push to the upside. Okay, so it's trying. Are we going to see the end of the correction and then we see a continuation to the upside? That is going to be a question. Okay. Okay, we're going to see or wait and see. So we're still in the downtrend, in the correction phase. We see abundant wicks in balances here. Let's see what's going to happen to well, the rest of the day and tomorrow. Okay, very quickly, Dixie. Let's have a look. Dixie. Monday was pushing to the upside. It's coming down now on Tuesday. We have a gap here, so I assume that we're going to see a price action move to clear this gap. So I do expect that we're going to see the price going back to 97,471. So let's see if we're going to get this gap filled. All right, I'm going to leave that line here and see by the end of the US session today if that is going to get cleared. If that is going to get cleared, there's another gap here. So I'm marking the gaps. Let me go to the daily. And let's see if the Dixie is going to get into these levels. Right, okay, that's looking good, nice and clean. So I got a small gap here. So let's see if today we're going to clear these gaps. Right? Let's see. Dixie overall is pushing to the upside lately since the beginning of July. Right? We have a small correction here. So let's see how far it goes. Let's see how that is going to deal with this one. Euro still in a downtrend. A small relief rally here is trying to be more stronger. AKA, remember, when the euro is going up, the comparison euro dollar, it means the euro, it becomes more weaker. If it goes higher, it means the dollar is getting stronger. You're getting more euros in return for $1, right? Great Britain, same thing. USD Japan, here clearly you see that the dollar is getting more stronger towards the yen, but we have a freeze for the time being, abundant wicks. Okay, so maybe it's going to turn around. Maybe we're going to see. Okay, there's a struggle here. You see the focus point here. You have an area that you need to pay attention in these two guys here and see what's going to happen. Go a smaller time frame and just observe a little bit. Let me go to 90 minutes again. Yeah, I'm okay with this one. So there it is. Okay, go down to 15 minutes. There you have it. And you want to see if it's going to stay outside of the range, because it tried once before, it came back. This is another attempt. Are we going to stay here or are we going to get inside? So this is for you to have a focus point in Forex if you're interested. Check. Okay, dollar's getting a little bit weaker here with a check. Okay, same thing with China. Now let's have a look on VIX. What is going on with VIX? Oh, we lost the background. Oh, shame. No worries, I'll fix that again. Never mind, no worries. So we are under the 18. So a little bit yesterday we saw a spike. So let me go to higher time frame. So we saw a little spike going above, the fear was increasing, right? So we enter into the upper zone and now we back down into the green zone. Anything under the 18, it's normal, right? So we under the green zone, inside the green zone, and we have a gap here. So let's see what's going to happen with this. I'm not going to say anomaly, but it spiked straight away inside the let's say fear, and then it's coming back to normal. So let's see how that is going to play out later on. It's good to see that the market is coming down, okay, which means that will create less panic into the market. Let's see. Right, there's no reason for me to go down to the Feds too early yet, and let's have a look a little bit on let's say XRP. Let's have a look on XRP. Let me go into crypto. Here we go. So we've got these huge liquidity areas still in play. Expand that a little bit. That was a daily range that we're monitoring. No need now to watch these. Expand that a little bit. There you go. We've got liquidity pools down here. We've got another liquidity pool up there. Overall XRP in a very, very slow uptrend. Look at that, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. Okay, but we have a ceiling. Okay, we have common rejection points here, here, here. Okay, and now we have a small deviation, a little bit more aggressive above $2.31, but immediately it got shut down and got inside again. Okay, and this is a common flipping area that we see majority of the times. We see that XRP is flipping these levels. Look at that, resistance and support. So this is a major SR area, which is support and resistance area. Okay, like another G level. Okay, it's just an observation that we have multiple times respecting these levels. Okay, that's why it's been marked out. So again, we're under the $2.31. We're looking ourselves in $2.26. So yesterday we had a push to the upside in the morning, and then it got rejected and came back into the same area. Okay, to the same area as yesterday. Okay, roughly. Is that going to be the 50%? That's a good question. Kind of. It is the 50% of the range. We see common grounds. There it is, and that is your 50% between 231 and 220. If you want to stay optimistic and bullish in this uptrend, you want to maintain that 50%. Okay, you just need to maintain that 50%. Let me do this a little pink so it doesn't confuse you guys. This is breakdown 50% of the range. So if the price is going to stay above, it's going to be looking bullish, and then there's a possibility that it's going to continue and attack again to $31. If we're going to lose that and come down, then we're going to find support on 220. Okay, so this is your intraday target. Let me put that back. Let me lock that. It moved, it drifted accidentally. Apologize for that. There it is. Make sure everything is locked. So yeah, if we go down to the time frame like 15 minutes, that is your intraday setup, and say, hey, I've got two targets, 231 and 220. If I'm going to stay in this region, right, come back, reclaim. So this is my higher low on the smaller time frame. Okay, this is my rejection area. So let me do this. The line to make it nice and clean. So that is my rejection area. I do this yellow. Okay, so I need to make sure that I stay above the 50% of the breakdown. Okay, and then I need to clear the structure. Okay, I need to break above this high for me to continue to the upside. So if someone is optimistic with XRP right now and want to do an intraday setup, well, your setup is long to here, right, and your stop loss is going to be here. Okay, and once you get breakout, you continue, and you want to go at least to $2.31. So the setup will look like something like this. Entry now, my target is up there, and my stop loss is the previous low. Okay, so that is the 3.7 ratio. If XRP is going to move to the upside, that will be the setup. Okay, your stop loss is 0.64. If you do the deviation, divide 5%, that is your maximum, with your stop loss 0.64. That's going to give you a ratio of 7.8. Either you're going to go 7 or you're going to go 8, and that is your safe leverage. Okay, and if you see that the market is moving, right, Bitcoin is moving, and then you understand that, hey, you know what, I see XRP moving, and 100%, let's say after that it clear that structure, okay, and you see that I don't see any rejection, the next target is there. If you, I'm saying this as an example, it's not going to happen every day, but if you feel confident that there's no way out, okay, if Bitcoin is really popping and going to the upside, and then you're like, XRP has to follow, it will follow, okay, and I don't see, it's claiming levels. So for the time being, there's only one move to the upside, okay, then you can go a little bit higher with your leverage, right, and say, I'm trying to gain as much as possible. If I can gain 2.41 with 10x instead of 8x or 15x, right, then you understand that you're going to make very quickly your 30 plus returns, okay. But that is not going to be every day. You have to have a clear momentum. You understand that? Look at that area here. Since you broke that, okay, since you broke that, it went bananas, right? And a lot of people say, okay, we're breaking structure. It's getting very strong, pushing up, rejecting, right? That was a breakout. It came down. Here it pushed one more time and it got rejected as a support. And that is just when the lift off. And then you say, okay, how much is it from here to there? Let me measure that in percentage. From here to there, it's 1.4. Can I do this on 10x? Can I do this on 15x? Because we found support. And then you have this momentum candle and it goes and goes and goes. Can back deviate a little bit, push one more time, and then it cannot find any support. And remember, what goes very fast up, it goes down again. But it's one of those things that it gave you a momentum candle. Not expected, but look at that. Since it broke, right? Since it broke that structure, it went bananas, right? And now we came back to these levels, and you once again at the bottom of that 50%, the breakout, right? The 50% of the range. You see that we have a support, small deviation, but reclaimed, deviation, reclaimed. And the question is, are you going to repeat this? Are we going to go up here, right? If you're going to show any strength and find support, are you going to give me another momentum at least to 231? Remember, my target's 231. I go level by level, right? My 50%, let me clear this, the 50% to 100%. If the market is going to play you the game the other way around, let's say that Bitcoin is going to drop and XRP has no other way just to follow, that you're going to see that you're going to lose that 50% and then it's going to get rejected. It will never manage to come up again, okay? So then your next target is going to be 220. And the same thing is going to apply. If you're going to lose these levels, okay, if you're going to lose these levels, roughly around here, this is a flipping point, rejection, support. So if I'm going to lose this level, there's a high possibility that it's going to pick up momentum, right? A lot of people will say, oh shit, we lost that range here, okay? So we're losing it. And then maybe, perhaps you're going to see a momentum is going to pick up under this line. So that's it for XRP. Plan A, plan B, right? So you're trying to get a support of the 50% and trying to go to the top of the range and hopefully break out from the top of the range and go bananas, or go short if you're losing that 50% and then expect to pick up a momentum under you lose that level. So here's your plan A, plan B for XRP. Okay, so I'm going to keep one line. I don't need to have two lines here. There it is. Nice and clean. Okay. There you have it. That's for XRP. Let's have a look a little bit on Solana. And then we're going to go on Hype. Let me do this correctly. Let's have a look in Solana. We're still under 151. Okay, once again. Yesterday we were trying to see if Monday is going to stay above 151. No, it dropped. It went all the way down. It did not manage to touch the next sea level, and we see a kind of action. All right, so someone is trying to save Solana. So let's see if Solana is going to return into the 50s. But don't be very, super hyped, because you need to claim 151 and find support. It's struggling. You could not find any support. It did not break this range. This is your focus point, right? For someone that is understanding the focus point, this is the area that you want to pay attention. Go to a higher time frame. Get a range. Here's the top. You can do this, is fine. A bit wider, it's okay. And that's your focus point, and this is where you lose it. Okay, not you, but this is where Solana loses the focus point. Goes out, comes back, trying to retest, and continue to the downside. That was a nice short indication yesterday. The same thing with Bitcoin, right? We had the focus point, and then we take action after we see a clear direction of the focus point. This is a 15 minutes. What do you see here? Okay, go to 1 hour or 90 minutes. Can we find an area of focus? Perhaps that past data here. Let me take that all the way to there. Go down to 15 and say, okay, you had once again a breakout of the range, okay, but you came back inside. Rejection, come back, and now you're trying to stay above, but I see no momentum, right? No momentum, nothing, nada. So someone's not trading Solana yet. There's no momentum, right? The only good thing about it is that you broke this time the range and you find support. Okay, the only thing that is missing is volume and momentum. Now, do you want to take this trade? You can take this trade, okay, like intraday trade, like a scalping, and say, hey, I need to clear this, and I put my stop loss under the that previous low, okay, because I don't want to go back inside the range. I'm supposed to stay out of the range. So you can have an entry here, you can put a stop loss the range, and then your first target is going to be here. Take this out, and then the next target is going to be the 50%. There's a possibility that support all day, all this time they're trying to find support. There's a high possibility now it's going to get rejected. So you have 1.5%, right? And your ratio is 5, and your stop loss is 0.29. What is the maximum safe? What is the maximum safe? 0.3 or 0.29, if you want to call it 0.29. There it is. So you can have a leverage of 17, right, and go all the way up. And 17 times 1.5 is going to give you a 25%, 26%. Let's say take out the fees. It's going to give you 23, 24%. Right? And that is, getting rejected on the 50%. You just need a little bit of volume and a little momentum for that Solana to play out for you. All right? Does that make sense? Let me clear these brushes out of the way. Right, now it's time to do hype. We have Philip waiting patiently. He's very patient with us. Hype. Let's have a look. Give it some space. Let's go a little bit higher time frame, 12 hours. You see, we had in the past, we have G levels. Look at when we were monitoring hype. And you have it. You ran out of lines, it's fine. Just enable the extensions. You don't need to do things from the beginning. So let me remove that. We don't need it. We just got hype at the very bottom. We're monitoring this area. If you go low by level, you see this very, very strong uptrend. And look at that, how nice and lovely that it went. And this is where retail comes in. When you see these big fights, candles, it's noise, right, from the retails. Look at that retailers, they took notice on hype once it passed 35. Where were they? over here? Nowhere to be seen, right? This is very important for you to understand. This is why important for you to understand that the wells, you're trying to identify as low as possible, the lowest level. Look how long it took them for someone to understand that hype is getting very exciting when it broke the previous highs. But it's okay, it's fine. This is what the retailers do. Okay, this is the people that they don't have a system, or they don't know to look on the high time frames. Speaking of high time frames, let's bring the indicators. Let's have a look a little bit on a high time frame. Let's have a look on monthly. Not enough data on the monthly. Okay, let's go weekly. Just barely enough of data. Okay, weekly is looking a little bit weak. Okay, look at that. We have a massive push to the upside. RSI was pushing out. ASI was dropping. That was a nice clean uptrend. And look at that. We have a cross down, and hype is trying to push to the upside, but technically it's inside a bearish divergence, and RSI is keep on dropping. Okay, and ASI, you see the blue positive turning around. It's going towards the downside. So let me use 3 days time frame. Okay, just a little bit higher than the daily, just a bit lower from the weekly to get more data for us to see the RSI resetting multiple times. And look at that, you got overexposed the overbought area on the stochastic RSI, and then you see the RSI hitting a little bit the 80, and since then it's dropping. Okay, so you have a curve, you have a cross down, you have the RSI here taking a turn, right, and ASI is taking a turn. So it's giving you already a sign that it's getting weak from here. Okay, what do you have? You have 2 cross downs, right? RSI is going down. You have this price up and then this price up, and obviously you are in a bearish divergence, and you see now that you see the abandoned wick comes down, it's getting rejected, right, and it's going to come down. Speaking of which, let me enable let me go back to the daily or 12 hours. Let me enable an extension. We only need extension 1. Okay, and I can make these lines a bit thicker. There you have it. There it is. Okay, I can even use other extensions as well. Let me go to extension 2. That's not a problem. Just make that a little bit thicker so everyone can see. Zoom out a little bit. Extension number 2 just went a little bit higher. Okay, the same thing that I have on Bitcoin. And you can see that hype, it was pushing all the way up, and then it's getting rejected. Right, it's getting rejected. It's losing G level, second G level, support on the third G level. It goes up, right, a little bit a power that is climbing and claiming levels, small deviation, but fell to break $41. Another deviation. So we're losing that G level once again. Okay, we took these lows, so there is a possibility that it's going to get rejected on 38 and continue to the downside. High, low, high, low, high. We're on a downtrend. Yes, it's a triangle, okay, but maybe this is a breakout, maybe this is a continuation to the downside. Okay, this is what I see on hype. Okay, not good days for hype. Okay, so there is a possibility that we may see hype come up a little bit and get rejected. Okay, if you, let's say, if someone was playing short from here, okay, trying to target $35, okay, your invalidation will be up here. Okay, if hype is going to claim and stay above and continue, that's invalid. Your short is invalid. Don't wait to go all the way up there, right, for you to get invalidated. Okay, because you want to get invalidated as soon as possible. If you're wrong, minimize your loss, lose as less as possible, and then find another opportunity in these regions for you to go short again, right? Because rejections, this guy never managed to go higher. Okay, so you're like, okay, there's a higher possibility that we're going to get rejected in this area. So if that short did not work out and it's going against you, wait until you find another opportunity for you to go short. Okay, you want to get out as soon as possible rather than holding, and then you're like, okay, I'm getting out, right? So you're closing your short and then the price is doing this. And you're like, oh, why did I close the short? Okay, so one of these guys, you just need to a little bit, be a little bit more observant, so to say. Okay, so for hype, watch out, you lost a 38. Okay, you printed to the downside. So let's see if today is going to get rejected once again on 38 and continue to the downside. Okay, that is my view about hype. Okay, that's the downtrend. Okay, a lot of people, if you were earlier, that is your focus point. Let's say for intraday setup, a lot of people say, oh, this is a 5 minute now. Oh, this is a nice, breakout. Okay, no problem. But I come from a downtrend, so I expect that we'll get rejected and continue to the downside. Okay, so this is short-lived. Okay, this is what I say. It comes from a downtrend. Higher time frame is telling me that it's losing momentum. Also higher time frame, I am inside various divergence. Let's see how far that will go. Okay, you never know, but that's the area of interest. You want to break this down? You want to break these two guys down for you to have levels? Break this down. Use the 8 for you to have 4 below, 4 above. So use the template 8. Make sure the numbers are nice and clean. Okay, let me get the numbers more accurate. So it has to be 41,609. 41,609, and the bottom has to be 35,376. Take out the overlapping lines because you've got 2 zones, you've got 3 lines, so it's going to be the 2 greens and the 50%, which is going to be that line here, 38. So you're good to go. Go back to your 5 minutes, and there you have it. Lock it, and this is your area of your focus. And there it is. You can make that a little bit dash line for you to remember it's a breakdown. Okay, I expect a rejection on these levels and see continuation to the downside. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I see on the long term. Okay, maybe today we're going to see a relief rally. It's okay, no problem. Watch these levels, right, and see how that goes. Okay, that's one level that you want to pay attention, and the 50% of that range as well. So mark that 50%. Okay, so roughly you're here. So here's your buffer zone. Okay, one is your 50%, and the other one is you've seen strong support here, push up and lost it. It's okay, but this is a significant level. So this is your buffer zone. Okay, what's going to happen with hype in this region? Okay, and that will be my TA for hype. Right, we've been here almost 1 hour and 12 minutes. I don't want to keep you more longer. I don't want to make you bored. We've seen Bitcoin is trying to push a little bit up to 108. Right, yesterday it was pushing to the downside. Today you see these strong push to the upside, came down, abandoned week. So you have people are trying to push price up. This is the 5 minute time frame. Don't be scared. Okay, this is the 5 minute, and let's see what's going to happen with the 50% of the level that we were monitoring yesterday. Okay, so let's see what Bitcoin is going to do in 108.8. Okay, zoom out a little bit, go to 15 minutes. There you have it. And this is the, this is a downtrend. This is your high. This is a low. Technically, this is your low highs compared to the left. Come down, equal lows, trying to push. And now you're questioning, are you going to break 108.5? And if so, are you going to manage to break 108.8, which is the 50% of the range that we're monitoring yesterday? Okay. Do you want to bring this buffer zone? That's not a problem. You can. Let me bring this guy forward. Let's bring this guy forward and see how Bitcoin is going to react into these levels. Okay, even on the 5 minute. There you have it. Every day, your duty, so to say, to your business, right, your trading is every day you want to find a trend. Yesterday it was a downtrend. Today it's an uptrend. Okay, now it's a little bit too late. Maybe, perhaps it's a little bit too late because we coming into very significant levels. We are inside the European Union. This is our timing. Look at that. After 5 o'clock was pushing to the up. So Asia is pushing up. Let's see if Asia, they're going to take, let's say, this high. There's a high possibility that Asia is going to take this high and then closing the day and taking profits. There's a possibility. Watch out for that. Okay, watch out that Asia is going to take the Asia high. This is Asia high. They're going to take out this Asia high and then come down. Okay, there's a high possibility of doing so. So be very careful. Okay, I mean, don't get FOMO that you miss that uptrend. Okay, there's a high possibility they're going to take these highs, their own session highs, and then come down again. Okay, there's a big possibility of doing so. So be very careful with your timing. Okay, this is what Asia did. You are not in the Asia time zone. You are in the European time zone or US time zone. So watch out. This is the Asia high. So there's a possibility they're going to take these highs and then come down, close the trade and taking profits for the end of the day. So be very cautious, careful, identifying trend. If you start losing levels, then you find you are inside a new trend. Okay, so that's it for today. We spoke about Bitcoin, we spoke about ETH, we spoke about Solana, XRP, Hype, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mark the ranges, and I'm gonna post them up in Discord so you can have your today's ranges. Okay, so that's it for today. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your time. John is already on the boat. It's 11 o'clock. It has to be an hour before departure or debarkation. So have a lovely day, rest of the day. Today is Tuesday, so we're going to do a live market update later. So I'm going to put that on the events. Later on, let's do a live update, a live trading. And we're going to do small updates for anyone who's going to want some other charts to chart on the live trading. Okay, so I'll see you in a couple hours. Have a good one.